current news podcast.
With Elu and Jesse.
Yes. All right, so today we're going to be diving into a story
Okay.
that is both fascinating and unsettling.
Yeah?
The downfall of FTX.
Right.
Remember when the whole cryptocurrency world
Yeah.
seemed to be holding its breath as this once untouchable giant just came crashing down?
Absolutely. It sent shockwaves through the entire financial world, not just crypto.
Yeah. And at the heart of this story is Caroline Ellison,
Right.
a former top advisor at FTX, and ex-girlfriend of FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried.
Right.
Just this week, she was sentenced to 2 years in prison.
Yeah.
Now, 2 years might not seem like a lot considering the scale of the fraud,
Right.
especially compared to Bankman-Fried's 25-year sentence.
Right.
But her case is anything but straightforward.
Exactly. And that's because Ellison's role is so complex. She was deeply involved in the fraud. There's no question there. But she also became the prosecution's star witness,
Right.
providing crucial testimony that ultimately led to Bankman-Fried's conviction.
So she was both an insider and ultimately the one who brought the whole operation down.
Precisely. Think of it like a high-stakes chess game.
Okay.
Ellison was a key player on Bankman-Fried's team, but she made the decision, the calculated decision, to flip the board and cooperate with prosecutors, essentially sacrificing her own freedom to expose the extent of the fraud.
Wow, that's a really powerful analogy. It's like she held the keys to unlocking this whole conspiracy.
Exactly. In fact, legal mechanisms like plea bargains, which is what Ellison ultimately accepted, are powerful tools in cases like this.
They allow prosecutors to secure convictions against kingpins, often by offering reduced sentences to lower-level players in exchange for their cooperation.
So by cooperating, Ellison became a crucial asset to the prosecution. But does that excuse her role in all of this?
Right.
The article we're looking at today quotes her as saying, "Not a day goes by that I don't think of the people I hurt." It sounds like genuine remorse.
Yeah.
But is it enough to justify a lighter sentence?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it gets to the heart of how we view justice in cases of white-collar crime.
Okay.
On the one hand, Ellison's cooperation was essential in unraveling this massive fraud and holding Bankman-Fried accountable.
But on the other hand, there are the victims, the people who lost their savings, their livelihoods, because of the decisions Ellison made.
Decisions that led to a staggering $8 billion loss.
Right.
That's not just a statistic.
No.
That represents real people who were deeply affected by the collapse of FTX.
Absolutely. And that's something we can't afford to lose sight of.
Yeah.
While Ellison's sentence is significant, it's crucial to remember the real-world consequences of this fraud.
Right.
The shattered lives, the broken trust.
So how do we grapple with that tension? How do we balance the severity of the crime with the potential for redemption and the need for accountability?
It's a question that legal scholars and ethicists grapple with all the time.
Yeah.
There are no easy answers. But what we can do is examine the systemic issues that allowed this to happen in the first place.
And ask ourselves some hard questions about the cryptocurrency landscape as a whole.
And speaking of the bigger picture, Ellison's own background adds another layer of complexity to this whole story. Before the FTX implosion, she was considered a rising star, a math whiz from MIT, running a hedge fund by the age of 28. For those unfamiliar, a hedge fund is basically a pool of money managed by experts like Ellison, who use really complex strategies to try and get high returns, often involving a lot of risk.
Right, and she wasn't just managing any hedge fund. She was at the helm of Alameda Research, a firm deeply embedded in the world of cryptocurrency trading. A world known for its volatility and lack of traditional regulation.
It's easy to see how even someone as bright as Ellison, could get caught up in a system that often rewards risky behavior.
Yeah, and let's not forget, her romantic relationship with Bankman-Fried adds another layer of intrigue to this whole story.
Absolutely.
It's not every day you see the world of finance collide with matters of the heart in such a dramatic way.
Absolutely, and it makes you wonder about the dynamics at play.
Right.
The influence Bankman-Fried might have had over Ellison's decisions, both professional and personal. Remember, the judge even acknowledged that there was an element of exploitation in their relationship.
So are we saying that Ellison was a victim of circumstance?
Right.
That she was manipulated into making these bad choices?
It's not that simple. And The article doesn't try to paint her as completely blameless.
Okay.
She was a highly intelligent individual in a position of power making decisions that impacted millions of dollars.
Right.
But it's also clear that she was operating within a system that lacked the guardrails of traditional finance.
Right.
And let's not forget the pressure she was under, the expectations that came with being a young woman in a male-dominated field,
Right.
the daughter of MIT professors.
Yeah.
It's a lot to carry.
It makes you wonder if she ever really stood a chance, doesn't it?
It certainly raises questions about ambition, loyalty, and the allure of power.
Yeah.
Especially in a world as new and seemingly limitless as cryptocurrency.
So where does that leave Ellison now?
Yeah.
What is she doing with her life after FTX?
Well, she's not exactly living the high life anymore. The article mentions that a job offer she received was revoked because of her connection to FTX.
Wow.
It seems that even with her guilty plea and cooperation, the shadow of this scandal follows her.
That's got to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to rebuild your life with that kind of baggage.
Absolutely. And it highlights the long-lasting consequences of white-collar crime.
Yeah.
Not just for the individuals involved, but also for their families and associates.
Right.
It's a reminder that even when the dust settles, the repercussions can continue to ripple outward.
So if she's not working, what is she doing? Hiding out, laying low?
Not exactly. It seems she's been focusing on her love of mathematics.
Okay.
Collaborating with her parents on a math textbook.
Wow. That's quite a change of pace.
Right.
From the world of high-stakes finance.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if this experience has fundamentally changed her perspective, her priorities.
It's hard to say for sure.
Right.
But it does make you think about the concept of redemption. The possibility of finding meaning and purpose even after making such significant mistakes.
It's a really powerful thought.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears a bit and talk about the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Cryptocurrency regulation.
Right.
The FTX collapse exposed some serious vulnerabilities in this still evolving market. Do you think this case will be a turning point?
Yeah.
For how cryptocurrency is regulated?
Yeah, I think so.
It's like the FTX implosion threw a spotlight on the Wild West nature of cryptocurrency.
Absolutely. For years, there's been this debate about whether cryptocurrency needs more regulation. Some argue that its decentralized nature is its strength.
Right.
That too much regulation would stifle innovation. Others say that lack of oversight leaves the door wide open for exactly the kind of chaos we saw with FTX.
And it's not just about preventing fraud, right?
Yeah.
It's about protecting everyday investors who might not fully grasp the risks involved in this relatively new and often volatile market.
Exactly. When you compare it to traditional financial systems, which are heavily regulated to protect investors and maintain stability, the cryptocurrency world can feel like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Ellison's case, along with the entire FTX saga, has certainly amplified calls for greater transparency and accountability in the crypto space.
So what might that look like?
Yeah.
What kind of regulations could help prevent something like this from happening again?
Well, there are a lot of ideas being floated around.
Okay.
Some experts advocate for stricter licensing requirements for cryptocurrency exchanges, similar to what we see in traditional financial markets.
Okay.
Others propose enhanced consumer protection measures to shield investors from fraudulent activities.
Right.
There's also a growing push for international collaboration on cryptocurrency regulation, recognizing that this is a global issue that requires a coordinated response.
It sounds like the FTX collapse could be a real turning point.
Yeah.
Forcing lawmakers and regulators to finally take cryptocurrency oversight seriously.
It certainly has the potential to be a watershed moment.
Yeah.
The question is, will it lead to meaningful and lasting reforms?
Right.
Only time will tell.
Well, I think that's a pretty good place to leave it for today. Yeah. The FTX saga is a story with many layers. From the complexities of financial crime to the very human stories of ambition, betrayal, and the struggle for redemption.
Absolutely.
But beyond the headlines, the courtroom dramas, it's a story that raises fundamental questions about the future of finance, the balance between innovation and regulation, and the need to protect both individual investors and the integrity of the system as a whole.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
For all of you listening, as you navigate the sometimes treacherous world of cryptocurrency, remember that knowledge is power.
Yes.
Stay informed, ask questions, and don't be afraid to challenge the status quo.
Absolutely.
Until next time, Keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll see you on our next deep dive.
Turn the dial to the daily news. Turn the dial to the daily news. Turn the dial to the daily news. Bringing voices, headlines, and shoes. We turn the dial to the daily news.